let's look at a thing of beauty in the backyard today, except it's not a rose, it's not a dahlia, it's not a concrete statue. I don't know if you can call those beautiful. It is picanha. Let's cook up some picanha today, some Brazilian steak. Pretty easy to do, super amazing. Watch my techniques, some things you can learn along the way. I'll show you how it's done, and hopefully it's enjoyable. So check out today's video. As we dive into the picanha, you're not going to find this in American stores, and most stores are not going to be labeling it as buying picanha. You're going to see this listed as some sort of sirloin cap. This particular case, it's a beef loin top sirloin cap. This is from Costco, and this is typically what you'll find in a store, something like this, cut different ways, but you can always go to a butcher shop and request the meat you want. So what I thought we'd do is just show you kind of what I have here. I've got a pan to put it in, I've got my meat, I've got my salt. You don't really use any other seasoning. This is kind of the traditional way, and it's totally sufficient, as you'll see in a bit. I got a nice sharp knife, cutting board, and some scissors to open up the package. As far as the salt, let's talk about salt for a moment. All right, so we've got 3 different salts here. One of these you do not want to use. That's the iodized salt, your typical table salt. Stay away from that. You want to go with sea salt. And I've got 2 different products, very common products here. There's a lot of different brands. That's not so much a big deal. It is worrying about the, well, you want to focus on how coarse it is. So I don't know how well this is going to show up down here, but here I've got the fine grain. It's good salt, but not what you want to use for this. You want to use more of a coarse salt. And so this was from my little grinder on this little device here. So it kind of breaks up the large rock salt. And some people will use this on the picanha. I actually think this is better. It's a coarse grind, not quite so heavy. A lot of it will fall off anyway as you cook it. But go for more of the coarse grind, not the rocks, and not the fine stuff. So again, this is about 8 pounds of meat. Got a couple in here. Get my garbage. Toss that. And if you're curious, as far as 2023 prices, this was 54 bucks. It was about almost 8 pounds, and running about $7 a pound. So as far as that was today's price, Father's Day weekend 2023. All right, as we dive into cutting this up into the steaks, what you're going to be doing is you want to leave the fat cap on there, and then on this side, if you have any of this it's kind of this thin skin on here from when they were butchered it, you want to cut that off. You can see just a little bit of fat there, a little bit of that skin. So I'll get the bulk of that off just for a cleaner piece of meat when it's all finished up. Lets the salt get in there. So as I start getting ready to cut the meat, I like to take this fat cap and I actually score part way down. I don't want to go all the way down to the meat, but about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch through. I'll just take my sharp knife and just do a light score. And I'm going to do kind of a diamond waffle pattern. It creates a little bit of extra surface area for the fat to render with the heat. It provides extra spots for the salt to get captured in and kind of help bring that flavor. Helps that fat to caramelize really nice. Looks really nice when it's all finished. I like to cut this into steaks. And what I'm going to do is my finished product, when you're actually sitting at the table to eat it, you want to be cutting across the grain, kind of cross cut, so that you have the most tender pieces. So what I like to do here is, as I cut my steaks, I'm cutting it with the grain. So in this case, the grain on this piece is going like this. So I'm going to be cutting that with that. So when you come back later to eat the steaks, you're going to be eating opposite that. And I'm going for about 1.5 inch steaks. So I'll just kind of, you can see just a great marbling inside, beautiful cut of meat. Using my fine and dandy Cutco knives. And then you're getting, you know, just great marbling, great color. This will have a lot of flavor with that fat cap and just the cut of meat that this is. One of the best cuts you can get on the cow. And it's actually a fairly inexpensive piece of meat compared to a lot of really good steaks. And it's not too difficult to cook. It doesn't get messed up real easy because it's got that fat cap on there. now that this is all cut, you can see if you were in a Brazilian steakhouse, they would have this on a skewer and kind of cook like that sort of thing, where you'd have a rotisserie sort of device, and you know, the rock salt and all that, it would be stabbed in there, and this fat cap would help provide a lot of flavor for it as it turns, kind of bringing the juices all around stuff. But you're going to see from our technique, we're going to be putting this on the smoker for a bit and grilling it. All right, slight change of plans. I decided to fire up the smoker, and I'm going to actually grill it on the smoker, probably about 300 degrees, 325 degrees. On here rather than on the propane grill. It actually cooks fabulous on the propane grill. That's what I've done when I cook it. But I thought, let's just try it with a little bit of smoke flavor and just see if it tastes a little more unique, a little better. I don't know, we'll see. But gonna get this fired up to about 325 and kind of have the smoke flavor mixed in. And I don't cook this under direct flame. And so a lot of times the smoker is great for that, because you can get the temperature in there, cook slow, then you get the smoke. So here it goes. Let me get it set right, and we'll go get the rest of the meat, pull it out, and get it going. So the smoker is warming up. I'm ready to salt this, so it's ready to go. And just like I talked about a moment ago, just gonna kind of put it all over. I'll flip it around, make sure it gets into the fat pieces. The grill is warmed up, and again, you can do this on a propane grill or you can do it on a smoker, but I've got it about 325 degrees. I'm gonna kind of cook it slowly, let that fat render up, and kind of get the juice and the flavor and all that. Get away from there, dog. The dog tries to get in. So let's throw it on the grill and see what happens. For my grill, it's typically a little hotter on this side than that side, so I put the fatter pieces down here. And you don't have to do this, but I like to kind of curl them a little bit. They're going to naturally kind of turn into a C as the meat cooks. And again, this is a little thinner one, so I'm going to put this down on this side, so kind of cook at the same speed. Keep smoking. Let's get the lid closed. Let it warm back up. Minutes later. Alright, so these are about done, but what I'm going to do is, instead of finishing them off in here for the last few minutes, I'm actually firing up my other grill, and I got it real hot. I just want to kind of sear the outside, just give it a little bit of crisp there, and I think it'll kind of get that perfect finishing touch. But as far as needing to do that, that's not critical. However you do it on your grill, you can just kind of finish it off, get it to the, you know, whether you want it rare, or medium, get it to the right spot. Alright, so I'm going to throw these on the grill real quick. I've got the grill nice and hot. I'm going to put them on for a minute and a half each side, perhaps. I'm going for kind of a medium rare, medium-ish. I've got some people in the family that like it more medium. It'll be juicy either way, so let's see how it turns out. One thing to look real carefully on, those score marks. I don't know if you can see that in there, but kind of waffle through, starting to see it. And then these little pieces, I don't want them cooking too much. I'm putting them on top so they will not overcook. Kind of getting that grill marks in there. Switch it over here where it's a little hot. All right, so these are all done. I'm gonna pull them off, put them in this glass pan. I got a piece of foil, put it over it, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then it's ready to serve. So we'll cut one up and take a peek in a second. Let's dive in, take a peek at how it looks, and then I'll call the family over for dinner. Let's see, just juicy. And you can see the fat cap around here. And then again, a lot of people like to eat that with it. It gives some good flavor. Again, the grain was like this. It's kind of shifted a little bit like that, but the grain is like this, so I want to cut it like this so it's nice and tender. So I'm just going to go right in the middle. Let's see. So that's kind of a medium. This is probably more of a medium piece. Maybe it'll be a little more medium rare in certain parts. Just super yummy. Let's take a bite. Yep. It's good. Juicy, warm. Good amount of texture. Definitely not too salty, but just right. I better do one more just to make sure. Want to come over for dinner? I can taste the smoke, the wood smoke flavor. I didn't get that in the last one I did that I cooked in my propane, but very subtle, but there's a little bit of different flavor in the meat. I think it's actually good both ways. So there you go. So picanha, kind of a Brazilian, and actually my understanding is there's other South American countries that claim they had it first. So I don't know, but South America, Brazil, somewhere, picanha, made out of that sirloin cap. Super good, not a difficult roast or a steak to cook up, and I'd really encourage you to try it out. Again, you don't have to use the smoker. You can just grill it up on your propane tank, on your propane barbecue, and hopefully that's helpful. So if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, throw it in the questions or in the comments down below, and have a good life.